The city glows in gold and silver lights, Christmas carols echo faintly through the frozen night. A woman stands by the glass window of her penthouse, the skyline stretches endlessly, but her reflection is what holds her captive. Her hand clutches a champagne glass, untouched. It's Christmas Eve, and she's alone again. Narrator, soft, emotional tone. They said she had everything, power, beauty, success. But what they never saw was the silence that followed her home every night. Until one Christmas, when a stranger knocked on her door and asked, "Can you stay for just one night?" That question changed everything. Chapter 1. The Woman Who Had Everything But Nothing. Isabella Vance was the youngest CEO in the city's history. At 32, her face graced magazine covers, and her name commanded boardrooms. She had built, Vance Tech, from scratch, a billion-dollar empire. Every investor wanted her attention, every newspaper wanted her story. But no one wanted her for her. The office lights dimmed as her employees rushed home for Christmas Eve. The sound of laughter, goodbyes, and jingling car keys filled the air, except in Isabella's glass-walled office, where only the low hum of her computer remained. Her assistant, Laura, peeked in softly. "Ma'am, everyone's leaving for the holidays. Are you sure you don't want to join your family this year?" Isabella smiled, the kind that hides exhaustion. "Family's busy. I'll just stay in and finish the projections for Q1. Laura hesitated, then left, whispering a quiet, "Merry Christmas." The moment the door shut, silence swallowed everything. Isabella leaned back, her eyes flickering toward the framed photo on her desk, a younger her, holding her father's hand. He had been her biggest supporter until his passing 5 years ago, on Christmas Eve. That was the night she decided that emotions were distractions. Since then, she worked harder, climbed faster, and buried her pain under awards and achievements. But loneliness has a strange way of whispering, especially during Christmas. Later that evening, she drove home through snow-covered streets. The city was alive with laughter, couples holding hands, families crowding around markets, children building snowmen. She watched from behind her tinted car window, detached from it all. In her penthouse, everything was perfect, minimal, expensive, lifeless. She poured herself wine, stood by the tall glass window, and watched fireworks light up the distant sky. She thought about calling someone, anyone. But who would she call? The world admired her success, not her silence. Just then, the doorbell rang. Startled, she checked the clock, nearly 10 p.m. Who would visit her now? She hesitated, then opened the door slightly. Standing there was a young woman, about 25, shivering in the cold. Her coat was thin, her hands red from the frost. I'm sorry," the woman stammered. "My car broke down near your building. I tried to get a cab, but no one's available. Could I maybe just stay here, for one night? Just until morning?" Isabella blinked, uncertain. Her instinct screamed no. She didn't let anyone in, not even friends, not even employees. But something in the girl's trembling voice, the rawness, the desperation, broke through her walls. After a long pause, Isabella sighed. "Fine. Just one night." The girl's eyes filled with relief. Thank you so much. I promise I'll leave first thing in the morning." Isabella stepped aside, unaware that this single act of kindness was about to rewrite the story of her life. Chapter 2. The Night That Changed Everything. The girl introduced herself as Maya. She was a nursing student, working 2 part-time jobs to support herself. Her car had broken down on the way home to see her mother for Christmas. As they sat in the living room, sipping hot chocolate, Isabella found herself listening, really listening, for the first time in years. Maya talked about her struggles, her dreams, and how she often felt invisible in the world. Sometimes, Maya said softly, staring at the steam rising from her mug, "I think people mistake being busy for being happy." Isabella froze. That line hit her like thunder. All her success, her schedules, her meetings, had they really just been distractions from her grief? Maya noticed her silence. "Sorry, I didn't mean to." "No," Isabella interrupted gently. "You're right." The night stretched on. They laughed, they talked, they shared stories. Isabella found herself confessing things she hadn't told anyone, how her father's death shattered her, how Christmas became a wound she never healed. Maya listened, not as a fan or an employee, but as a human being. At midnight, they stood by the window watching the snow fall. The city lights reflected on the glass, and for the first time in years, Isabella didn't feel small in the silence. She felt seen. Then, Maya whispered, "You know, sometimes all we need is someone to ask us to stay, even if it's just for one night." Isabella turned to her, eyes glistening. And sometimes, one night is enough to change everything. The next morning, Isabella made breakfast, something she hadn't done in years. Maya smiled as she ate, then prepared to leave. Before she did, Isabella handed her a small envelope. Inside was a business card and a folded note that read, "Greater than, for the girl who reminded me what it means to feel again. Merry Christmas, and thank you for staying." Maya looked up, tears in her eyes. "You don't have to." "I know," Isabella said, smiling. "But sometimes, giving is how we heal." Clapperboard epilogue, emotional closing. The next Christmas, the city once again glowed in lights. But this time, Isabella wasn't alone. Vance Tech had started a foundation that supported struggling students, inspired by one girl who had once knocked on her door. As the snow fell outside her office window, Isabella stood with a warm smile. Somewhere deep in her heart, she could still hear Maya's voice. "Greater than, can you stay for just one night?" And she realized that one night had stayed with her forever.